Welcome to this first Dharma Talk, part of Religica Theolab's Interfaith Sharing Series, which will occur over the 2022-23 academic year, presented by the Center for Ecumenical and Interreligious Engagement. My name is John Malcolmson, and I am the CEIE coordinator, and use he and him pronouns. We are grateful to be here in Seattle on the land of the Duwamish and Coast Salish people who have stewarded this land for countless generations. We are aware that acknowledgement is not enough and commit to the continued efforts of repair. Our Religica Theolab in the center at Seattle University is committed to providing all kinds of rich opportunities for communities and students who are both very near and far away. Through hybrid formats, such as today, we work with partners to create events, workshops, and educational and spiritual offerings, such as this Dharma Talk. Dharma is a form of teaching and brings multiple meanings from many faith traditions. In the Buddhist tradition, it is known as instructions for awakening, as paths to practice toward awakening, and as a means of aligning ourselves to the reality all around us. We are grateful to have you with us as we open our minds and shape this experience together. By the way, we are recording this event, so those who are unable to attend can watch it online. Today, we welcome Reverend Taijo Imanaka of Seattle Koyasan Buddhist Temple, who leads this local Japanese-style temple in the Shingon tradition. Reverend Imanaka is also a member of the Center's Advisory Council and known to many of you through various events held here at Seattle University. We are here with Steve Wilhelm, also a fellow Advisory Council member who teaches meditation in the tradition of early Buddhism. In addition to working at CEIE, I am also a Buddhist minister in the Vietnamese Zen tradition. The three of us are putting on this year-long series, and we hope you enjoy it. Reverend Imanaka will be speaking today on a Shingon temple responds to present-day challenges, war, and the precept of not killing. Please welcome Reverend Imanaka.
Thank you, John, for your hard work. And thank you, Steve. And thank you, Dr. Michael Trice, for this opportunity. First of all, please let me provide meditation for us together. So this meditation is called Asokukan in Japanese, or breathing meditation in English. This is very simple. Everybody says, together. We are all different cultural background, different ethnic groups, skin colors, different philosophies, different religions, different age, different genders. Difference, but still this world, this society could be harmonious, not chaotic because of the differences, but harmonious because of these differences. This is a Buddhist image transmitted in our lineage called Mother Womb Mandala. In this image, lots of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, who have different facial expressions, skin colors, different teachings, are sitting together and beautifully harmonized. Our society could be like this. In spite of our differences, or because of our differences. So, although our appearance are clearly different, the vibration uttered from our body can be beautifully harmonized. So let me lead this simple meditation, and please join me if you don't mind. Now keep breathing through your nose soundly, comfortably, gently, like a baby is breathing while taking a nap. Still your silent vibration keeps circulating all over the universe. Keep breathing, keep vibrating, keep streaming. Observing every sentient being in the universe. I see myself in each of them. observing every sentient being in the universe. I see myself in each of them. Observing every sentient being in the universe, I see myself in each of them. Thank you for joining the meditation. Today, I'm going to talk about how our Buddhist temple, a humble, small Buddhist temple, downtown Seattle, is being engaged with this situation. The big conflict, war is happening in Ukraine. Maybe people expect something very peaceful in Buddhism, but Johnson, could you show us the photo one?
Mhm.
Like this very typical photo. So, you know, Getty image, if you put the word Buddhism in Getty image, this particular type of photo, hundreds of them immediately pop up. So very peaceful atmosphere. And I think in America, many people expect this type of calm and serene peacefulness in Buddhism. But although in spite of their expectations, actually the opposite of this type of peacefulness means war is something very close to Buddhism. Remember that three of most famous Buddhists, even in Western countries, Dalai Lama, the 14th, Thich Nhat Hanh, who passed away last February, and the Buddha, the historical Buddha who was born in India 2,500 years ago. Please remember those three Buddhists. The Buddha himself was born in a kingdom who had faced wars after was. And the Dalai Lama 14th, as you know, exiled from Tibet because of wars and conflicts. And Thich Nhat Hanh, who advocated engaged Buddhism, and which is getting the mainstream of the Buddhist society in the modern time, his actions of engaged Buddhism is definitely triggered by the sufferings caused by the Vietnam War. So, the Buddha and war, the Dalai Lama 14th and war, Thich Nhat Hanh and war. War is very close to Buddhism, and even we may be able to say war forged their Buddhism, Buddhist way. I myself, who is from Japan, honestly speaking, has been very naive to war situation because the last war Japan directly experienced, as you know, was the World War II that ended in 1945. So in Japan, war is something happened once upon a time. Then I came to America in 2006 and started to encountering lots of military people who are on duty, who are veterans here, there, some visiting our temple, delivering their traumatic experiences in the battlefield, in Baghdad, in Afghanistan, and also in the airplanes, in town, everywhere. As you know, I have had chances to face those military people, because not like Japan, this country is being connected war always throughout, even after the end of the World War II. Then this Russian invasion toward Ukraine occurred. Our temple has a member who is from Ukraine when he was 17 years old. Now he's 32 or 3. He is now a PhD chemist, graduated from UW. And his father, still in Ukraine, was immediately drafted to the military after the war started. He is from a city called Chernihiv, which was destroyed 70% by the middle of this invasion. And his extended families were killed. So now war is happening in my Sangha. So war is not something once upon a time for me. How our temple should be engaged with this situation. Especially our lineage of Buddhism is called Vajrayana. This is something Buddhist implement called Vajra. So we appreciate this tangibleness. So our prayer is always tangible. So this is our Buddhist beads. I don't know if you can see, but the string connecting all beads are red. Red as the color of blood. So when we make a prayer, we use this beads like this. 1, 2. This very moment, I infuse my prayer into this sound. Always our prayers should be tangible and concrete, like blood running through your body. Then, under this war situation, what can we tangibly pray for? That was my question. During the time of no war, we can pray for peace, world peace. But once war has started, just praying for peace is like itching your foot outside of your shoes. That is not concrete. That is not tangible. That was my dilemma. Anyway, we, our Sangha, should do something we can do for the war. So I asked that young gentleman from Ukraine about donation portals, and that we can send our compassion through money to Ukraine. And that gentleman called Max kindly made some research and delivered the donation portal of National Bank of Ukraine. He said if we don't send money to that bank, this could be the most direct, effective donation to support Ukraine. Thank you. So I went to the website. Then what I saw in the website, the donation portal, was the photo of a brave female soldier, Ukraine soldier. And it says all the money into this donation portal will help Ukraine military. Then I hesitated. Yes, we want to support people in Ukraine, but this money directly to support Ukraine military. Ukraine military definitely will kill Russian soldiers. So it means our compassion shaped as money is indirectly going to kill Russian people. What about our Buddhist precepts? Number one, not to kill. At this point, I was bound by this dilemma. Considering this issue, I have realized many more dilemmas I am having. That is, I live in America and I am enjoying this freedom, security. My Sangha people, my family, be safe. This is thanks to the American military, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guards, on duties, veterans. Thanks to them, can we Buddhists be proud of our not killing or our not aiming to killing anybody, being protected by those military people who are destined to kill their opponents? Can we say they are bad guys? They are violating Buddhist precepts not to kill. That's why they are accumulating bad karmas. That's why they will be reborn to a bad place in their next life. Can I tell, can I think such kind of thing to the military people? Definitely, I cannot. My family background is also military related in Japan. My grandfather, Masaru, was serving as the imperial court guard. This was a great honor for him and for his family. and retired from the on duty and started work at Japan's Pentagon. When he was 51 years old, a war started. And at that point, his age 51, and he had 5 children, including my father. My father was 8 years old. My father's elder sister is 9 years old. My father's younger sister, 5 years old. But he volunteered to stand on the battlefield, and he was actually too old. He wrote the petition to the emperor, cutting his pinky finger with his blood. I don't believe the emperor read his petition directly, but anyway, his petition was accepted, and he went to the battlefield. After a month, he was killed. So those children, including my father, became fatherless. For 49 days after one's death, in Buddhism, there is a custom to keep burning incense day and night, 24 hours. So when his proud father died, my father cried and cried, and exhausted, and slept. And he suddenly woke up and thought, oh, it must be a dream. My father shouldn't have been dead. Then smell of incense told him, no, your father died. So my family, male boys, always has a Chinese character, kanji character, that means win, to win, in their names. My grandfather, grand-grandfather, my father, male siblings, always they have the letter win. In Japanese pronunciation, katsu, to win. As a descendants of samurai family. But my parents gave me a name, Taro. It's very simple, easy name that doesn't contain any win. So when my parents gave me this name, my grandmother, the widow of Masaru, was really upset. How come you gave such a easy name like a dog to your son? But anyway, I became the first boy who doesn't have to win. in my lineage, family lineage, and to be a Buddhist monk. But now I was getting into this dilemma, facing war as a Buddhist monk who has a precept not to kill. So now this is not only the topic upon Russian invasion into Ukraine, but how I can be a Buddhist monk in the United States of America. And not only United States of America, even people in Japan are indirectly protected by US military treaty of mutual cooperation and security between the United States and Japan, signed on January 19th, 1960. Every time some conflicts happens around Japan, politicians, civilians, all depend on this treaty. It means we are protected by the US military. So, what my prayer, our prayer should be, in the middle of this dilemma, I encountered a Ukrainian, not the young gentleman I have mentioned, but this time a Ukrainian young gentleman who is living in Ukraine. I found him in one of our online meditation sessions. That was the early part of this invasion. About 20 people were attending online, and we were dedicating our prayer for Ukrainians. And when we say goodbye, suddenly that young gentleman actually attending from Ukraine self-introduced to us. I was surprised because I didn't expect somebody is attending our meditation from Ukraine. And in those days, I was not sure about his life. The next day, he might disappear. The next week, he might be disappeared. So we started our dialogue online almost every day. The first motivation was to teach Buddhist knowledge he wanted to know, but gradually these dialogues turned to be my own learning occasion from him. His father is the painter, professional painter to paint icons for Ukrainian Orthodox churches, not only Ukrainian Orthodox churches, but the Orthodox churches. So he was grown up in very Christian environment. And he first met Soto Zen Buddhist Sangha, and still now he is an active member of a online Soto Zen Sangha, but he also became to be interested in Shingon Buddhism. And we talked about this war so many times. And he started his own Buddhist community in the city called Lutsk, where he lives. So now our temple is connected with another Sangha, another humble Sangha, which is born in Ukraine. So Seattle Koyasan Buddhist Temple has started supporting his Sangha. By the way, his Buddhist name is called Wabo. Wa means peace. Bo means to protect. So normally I call him Wabo-san. So we sent green tea, incense, teapot, and Japanese sweet cakes from our Buddhist mountain, and also Buddhist working attire called samue from our Buddhist mountain called Koyasan in Japan. Actually, many of them were donated from the store owners of Mount Koyasan. So now this is thanks to the presence of Wabo-san and his project. Our dilemma is partially being solved. Still now, we are meeting online once a week. And the last Friday, when I met him, I asked him, "What is your prayer?" He said his prayer upon this war is not to defeat Russia, but his prayer is, may all Ukrainians and Russians be free from the mist of confusion made of anger, hatred, selfishness. Listening to his prayer, I felt Buddhism is prevailing. Compassion is prevailing. Concluding my talk, could you see the second, the first photo? Oh, okay, so this is the Wabo-san, who lives in Lutsk, Ukraine. So this is from one of our dialogues. Actually, he must be attending online today. Wabo-san. And this photo titled "The Boy Standing by the Crematory." So this is taken by U.S. Marine Corps photographer in 1945 in September in Nagasaki. About a month ago, an atomic bomb dropped in Nagasaki, and the war ended. Then, so this is outdoor temporary crematory, and that U.S. Marine Corps photographer witnessed this young boy carrying his dead younger brother on his back, waiting for his turn. Also, the Marine Corps photographer witnessed, since the boy was biting her lips so tight because of his extreme nervousness, he saw blood is running from his under lip. This photo is also known well because Pope Francis sent this photo to all Catholic churches in 2017, putting the title, "What War Brings." So this is not only about war between America and Japan, but as a symbol of the tragedy, suffering behind the war, universally, I selected. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Reverend Imanaka. Maybe we could take a moment just to take in what you have shared. May I ask you to invite Bill? Yes. So we have a chance now to have a dialogue, to ask questions of Reverend Imanaka, both online. All of our attendees online can do so through the question and answer function, the Q&A. And those of you here, if you would like to ask a question or make a comment, you can do so by either coming to this microphone up there, if you don't want to be on camera, other than your back, or you can come up here if you would like to be on camera and ask your question. And Steve will help with any of the questions you all would like to ask, and then I will manage the online questions. So please go ahead and submit your questions, those of you who are online, through the Q&A. And I will monitor them. Is there anyone here physically in our wonderful room who would like to make a comment or ask a question? See, Dr. Worth is taking the ask a question. Did you want to ask one? Come up to the microphone or come up here, whichever you like. Thank you for coming.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I just want to express my very deep gratitude. When we chanted at the beginning and the deep ground of our diversity, and also therefore our harmony was experienced. I also experienced it in your talk. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Tetsuzen-san. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Worth. Dr. Worth humbly did not mention that he has his own Sangha that meets here on campus, the Eco Sangha, every Wednesday. Is that right? So we're really glad to have you here today. Is there anyone else who would like to make a question or a comment? I have one. I just wanted to ask, could you share a little bit more about your Koyasan temple here in Seattle and what the community is like, and maybe where you're located generally?
Right, thank you. So our temple, Seattle Koyasan Buddhist temple, is about 20 minutes walk from Seattle University, founded about 70 years ago by the Japanese immigrants, the first generation and the second generation. Our name, Koyasan, is from the Buddhist mountain we are originally from in Wakayama, Japan, and that has 1,200 years of its history. Now, one of UNESCO's World Heritages. But at our local temple, Seattle Koyasan, nowadays, the amount of Japanese American people, members, are decreasing, yet gaining more non-Japanese backgrounded American Buddhists. So we are running very ecumenically. For example, this bell is always often borrowed by a Christian church called Saint Peter's Episcopal, 3 blocks away from here, especially on their Good Friday. So this bell itself is already ecumenical, and also we have a rabbi very often attend our service, who is supporting this temple very well. Rabbi Rita must be attending online. And former Quaker pastor and my wife is baptized Catholic after we get married, Jessica. So we are very ecumenically running temple. So everybody welcome.
Thank you. And when do you meet? Is it each day of the week or generally?
Yes. So on Sundays we have Sunday service from 12 noon, hybrid, in person, online, and also four times a week we have meditation sessions open to everybody who has any religious, cultural, ethnic background. So detailed information, please check on our website or our Facebook.
And those are linked on our center website as well. Great. Well, it looks like I don't have any questions from online. So is there anyone else here? Do you have a question? Go ahead.
Hi, I was wondering, America's a funny country because we're so big and haven't been invaded. in the entire time, but you know, I mean, you weren't exactly invaded, but you had 2 bombs dropped on Japan. Can you say anything about sort of how war looks from, say, a point of view of a Japanese person in terms of the world versus how it looks from an American point of view? Because sometimes I think we're so insulated from it. It seems more like a video game than a reality.
Yes, maybe I couldn't represent all Japanese people, but as far as I know, my friends, families, acquaintances, war is happening always somewhere, because Japan is an island. We didn't have any war in our land since the end of the World War II. So this physical distance to wars are somehow linked with our mental distance with wars. Definitely, we have heartaches, sadness when we see wars, but at the same time, some distance between wars and we Japanese. But this time, this invasion toward Ukraine, I believe, has its drawn war in front of Japanese eyes, including myself. But in this country, let's say, when I go to some shopping malls normally it's a fun place, but I can find those military recruit places or paralyzed veterans organizations. I can see everywhere. So that's the big difference between living in Japan and in America.
Great. Anyone else who would like to ask a question and make a comment? It's not required. Yes. Either way you like. You'll be seeing it.
My name is Timothy Malone. I spent quite a bit of time in Japan, and enough time to hear from some Japanese women and men, especially who were doctors and nurses, that still in their hearts is the event that happened in 1945, the 2 events. There's still some passing on of strong feelings about what happened. And I don't think I could take it in at the time when I was there, but I also thought about your father in this story. It just feels like he's maybe in the room with us. And I wondered, he chose to not give you the samurai name, but to give you winning wars, winning the conflicts. But he gave you a different name. And I just wonder if your father ever talked to you about what happened to him, his loss, and whether or your name, and just that influence that you became a Japanese monk, and that's a big step. So
Thank you very much. So thank you. So my father eagerly wanted to succeed his father's career. So my father entered in Japan's version of West Point, military elite military school called Tokyo Yonen Gakko, at the age of his middle school. Even started to learn Russian language as an enemy's language when he was 13 years old. while at ordinary schools to teach English was prohibited because it is an enemy language. But before he actually stood on the battlefield, the World War II ended. So he has been the top runner until then, because qualified in the elite military school. Then, 1945, the General MacArthur came to Japan. Then, boom, Japanese society got upside down. The top runner, the last runner. So he lost his purpose. He lost his goal. He lost his aim to succeed his father because the society 180 degrees changed. So since he experienced that change, he told me, Taro, do whatever you want to do. Period. That's why I became a Buddhist monk. Thank you. Thank you.
We do have one question from online I would like to share. This is from Jasmi in Rome, who is joining us online. He said, I also would like to express my sincere gratitude to Reverend Imanaka for his deep sharing in front of the present challenges. How do you accompany, as a Buddhist priest, the children and young people who are refugees we find around the world, especially from war? Thank you.
The children.
Mm.
Yes,
Refugees.
that is my biggest sadness. Those innocent children are being sacrificed. I read a news article in the middle of this invasion to Ukraine that a 9-year-old girl and her family was attacked. Then immediately, that girl's name, Sasha, 9 years old, Sasha's father immediately killed, and mother and Sasha herself somehow survived, but Sasha got severe injury on her left arm and hospitalized. And her arm was cut. So when she was awake from the sleep, she asked her nurse if she still has her arm or not. Nurse hesitated to tell the truth, but no other choice. But the girl, Sasha, didn't cry. But what she said touched my heart. She said she strongly hopes a Russian soldier who crushed, destroyed her arm didn't do that intentionally. Instead of hating the Russian soldier, she hoped that happened without bad intention. So it means she's still trying to find the Buddha nature in the Russian soldiers who destroyed her arm forever. So since then, I'm praying for Sasha and other children injured, and our temple sent a donation, particularly to save those children sacrificed in the war. So always those children not to be injured, not to be attacked, to be protected, not to be killed is in my prayer every day.
We have another question in person. Go ahead, please.
As we began today, you started with a chant that put into words what I've been struggling to put into words for my entire life, which is I feel myself in every other being in the universe. And it feels like, at least from what I'm gaining from this conversation, that Buddhism wants to put into tangible reality a never-ending sense of optimism. I want, if I may, I want to know how Buddhism relates to the feeling I have that humans should strive to be optimistic forever.
Optimistic.
Do you feel like that embodies what Buddhism is optimism?
Thank you. So, yeah, please imagine this Buddha nature. It's a possibility to be enlightened in everybody. It is sometimes very difficult to imagine the existence of this in everybody, even inside the people you don't like. But we Buddhists shouldn't give up looking for this. So imagine in every people in the world, this beautiful full moon is quietly rising. Somebody's full moon hasn't been rising fully. All of us are in the middle of rising. But someday it will be rising in the middle of their heart. At that point, the real happiness will come to me, come to you, and don't give up until then. So this is Buddha's way. So you are welcome to join. Thank you for the question.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question from online. We have another question from Rome. Maria wanted to express her deepest gratitude to Reverend Imanaka for his talk and would like to ask what would you advise to those Russian people and believers who are against the war and live in this constant nightmare?
Yes, I know of many Russian people, their sufferings. I totally have the same compassion toward Russian people, and you may, or your husband might have to be standing on the battlefield, have to hold weapons. Just please do that without hatred. Then you can be still our team. I know your struggles.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for your questions and comments. We now have asked Reverend Imanaka to do a kind of dedication of merit at the end of our event here. So please go ahead and do that.
With our whole heart, we offer this prayer. May the world be stable and secure. May all beings attain Buddhahood, hopefully in this lifetime. May we realize the secretly adorned ideal world of Mahavairochana. May the winds and rains come in their seasons. May the harvests be bountiful. May all countries coexist in harmony. May all people be cherished. And may every being in the world be benefited equally. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Imanaka. And Steve, would you like to share a little bit about our next teacher who's coming next year? Aya Santusika Bikuni.
Hi, folks, and hi there out there online. I just actually happy to say, and thank you so much, Taijo. And very consciously, we have two women leaders, two Buddhist women leaders. The next two, there'll be three. So two of them are quite extraordinary women. First, on February 3rd, Aya Santusika, who's a Theravada nun, a Western Theravada nun, who was a computer programmer for 15 years in the Bay Area, but then took robes full ordination, and she is abbot of a small nunnery called
In California.
yeah, in California. Look at Karuna Vihara. There, I got it. Karuna Vihara. So she's amazing, very wonderful heart, extremely smart, very flexible, very grounded. She grew up on a farm, and it's part of a small vanguard of women who are now fully ordained and kind of pushing against the traditional structure of Buddhism in Thailand. So it's a powerful, wonderful thing. And then just and a tiny bit ahead, April 21st, Zen Master, I can't pronounce this right, Zhuangji, also known as Anita Feng. And she actually is local, but she's also a pioneer, one of the first very small group of women who have been has transmission to be a leader of a temple, to be a Dharma master in a temple. So she'll be here too. She's great.
Great. Thank you, Steve. So thank you all for being here in person and online.
Can we put a picture up of the gentleman? It's like a tiny crane.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's-
Absolutely. So I want to thank you all for being here today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. If you are enjoying this recording online, thank you for sharing it. At this time, the Center for Ecumenical and Interreligious Engagement at Seattle University would like to wish you well as you take this experience and learning out into the world. May you and those you love be well. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Steve.